All right, good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday in what is now a snowy, miserable, cold, bitter. I don't know what other nasty adjective I can find here this morning, but it is a proper start to the winter here today, and hopefully, right, the start of winter means the start of the Santa Claus rally. A few things for us to talk about here today. Right, as we creep up towards the end of the week already, kind of crazy to say that, but tomorrow, right, last trading day of the week. Markets are closed on Thursday, half day on Friday, and I would highly recommend not trading, right, on Friday this week. It's going to be just kind of crappy, poor price action. Everyone's going to be hungover, right, and turkey comas and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't just waste your money on what is historically a very slow and low volume day. Few things overnight, right? So we had obviously the talk of tariffs dropping, and markets faked out on that news right lower, made a little move under yesterday's low of day, and they're now kind of back up in the middle of that range. Same thing here on NQ. And so we're definitely looking for a nice kind of continuation recovery after a very indecisive day there yesterday. Now with these tariffs, I don't know what they're going to mean for the stock market, right? No one knows what they're going to mean for the stock market. So really not going to overreact or overcorrect based on that news, and just going to continue to trade the system that's in front of me. Annoyingly, right, seems like the last few days, or last few weeks even, it's start the day off with a loss, finish the day off with a win, and get off on a nice green day by the end of it. And I'd love to just find a scenario where I can have a slightly easier trading experience, right? So not sure exactly what that means here yet today. And hopefully, right, we can take advantage of some good opportunities, but going to be a little bit cautious, going to be a little bit patient, and certainly not going to rush into anything, and just keep kind of focusing on controlling the variables I can control. What has allowed me to be profitable here in the last little bit has been really two key elements, and it's things that I still want to keep getting better on so that I can maximize my P&L potential. But cutting losers before their max losses, right? So if it doesn't feel right, it's not behaving the way that I want, if trades aren't moving how I expect, take a loss before it becomes a max loss, right? If I can turn a expected $500 loss into a $200 loss, or a $400 loss, or a $300 loss, then it's easier for me to bounce back and be one trade away. So that's step one. And then just protecting my profits like a lunatic, right? Really obsessing over managing those expectations, over not getting greedy, right? Over being objective with how I'm looking at price action once I'm in a winning trade, and not letting my P&L trick me into thinking that things are going better than they are. If I can focus on both of those elements, then I'll keep just taking my little base hits, and I'll be, one trade away, two trades away, right, from really creating a fantastic month for myself. With that being said, right, we do have a relatively busy economic calendar, maybe not as much today. We got Fed minutes, that's always something. But then tomorrow's going to be a psychotic day, right, with a tremendous amount of data in the morning, 8:30, 9:45, 10 a.m., right? It's just going to be busy, 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 busy. And so generally, if we're going to be waiting for that many bits of news to drop, maybe the market's going to kind of catch its breath here today and give us another day of indecision. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out here. Let's figure out what we want to do this AM, and let's set ourselves up for what should hopefully be a successful trading day. So good morning, DTR members, Cabo, Norm, Cordell, Jack, Nate. Hope you're all having yourselves a great start to the AM. And good morning, DTR guests. Hope you're looking forward to what should hopefully be a successful trading day here again. So first things first, right? What's the count here on ES? Let's start there. How do we feel about yesterday's price action? And yeah, let's build it out from there. Yeah, so week 3 out of 3, spot on. So that doji candle, I mean, high volume indecision there yesterday, but higher highs, higher lows. And we've already faked out here this morning off of yesterday's low of day, right? So that relatively is a positive sign, I would say, if you're a bull. But let's see if we can get a nice amount of continuation. We talked about this yesterday already, but historically, Thanksgiving week is a bullish week, more bullish than bearish. Like 70% of the time, historically ends up being a green week. So I'm going to look for that level of continuation more than I'm looking for a tremendous bear case scenario. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions there. But certainly seems like we are looking for that upside case. All right, so we're looking for fake out under yesterday's low of day would make a ton of sense. So that's 59.85. So if we can find dip buyers there, right? We've seen them step up and defend that area here before. So certainly would be optimistic. And if I can get a breakout past or towards all-time highs, I think ultimately that would be the easiest trade I could get here today. And we're targeting 60-40, right, as our starting point. Now with it being a 3 for 3 and kind of the historical bias that we have here, I'm going to go NA, right, on the downside case here on ES. I'm less optimistic of that actually being a particularly strong bearish setup. Maybe we'll have some other tickers where we have that flexibility. Make sense? Awesome. All right. NQ. What's the count here? So red candle, decreasing volume, right, by like 3,000 contracts. And then gapping up, right? So 1 for 3 here. And kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? Yesterday on a lot of our tech names, we saw stories of consolidation. Indexes, yesterday pre-market at least, we saw a lot of consolidation. Indexes, right, kind of maybe caught up to that a little bit. So we're going to look for a resolution of that consolidation before we're going to get out of here with the green day. Now, again, same thing. We've already faked out here this morning. So a little bit of that like dip buy right off of 2,800. Could be pretty interesting. And if we're going to think back to yesterday's price action on NQ, NQ treated 900, right, as a magnet. So if I can see a high volume separation away from there, then I certainly have space up towards, 21.1 and beyond. But maybe this is a little bit more challenging for us to trade than the index, ES, I should say, sorry. And we'll see if that ends up being the scenario. Now, with a downside case, right, I do have an opportunity, or sorry, with this being a 1 for 3, I do have an opportunity for a downside narrative here this morning. And be looking for, again, right, that rejection off of yesterday's high a day, so 2,100, and then a breakdown towards, 28, 29, yada, 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 yada. So not too much is changing from a plan perspective here. But yeah, going to be looking for just basically a clear, consistent, concise narrative. And if we can get that oomph, then we should have ourselves a nice day. Last night I had and this shows how much of a sicko I am. But I had a dream about pyramiding and about how maybe making that a little bit of an easier equation. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit here today about maybe being able to build up winning trades easier than having to wait for that big follow through. Because I think my biggest edge here right now with this market is being able to build into trades and being able to build into positions. And I'll see if I can make that combo work here and translate that nicely. But effectively, it's just going to be doing a little bit more math, right? So if my entry is at, we'll say 900, stop loss is at 880, and I want to, I'm getting some good early follow through. If I buy another contract at 920, Now my average price is going to be 910, and if I can keep my stop loss at 900 or wherever it might be, and just slowly build up that position, I'll be able to get myself in a spot where my wins are going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 times bigger than my average loss, and that sets me up to be tremendously successful. So putting a little bit more emphasis into that here today, but that's also going to mean that you have to be a little bit more psychotic basically with how you're managing your position, right? So don't pyramid in thinking that you're going to be able to do a mental stop loss at your entry protection zone. I'm willing to take on bigger sizing with zero risk and get faked out for a $0 win, and I'm not going to let those trades turn into losers. So we'll talk about that as things are coming together. But yeah, that's something I want to keep kind of building off of and keep getting better at here, because I think ultimately that's where the upside is. And the more I can obsess over getting that good sizing off, then I can make my win rate irrelevant, right? The point of pyramiding and the point of those techniques is that it reduces the pressure I need to put on myself to have a super high win rate, right? So instead of needing a 70, 80, 90% win rate to be successful, I can be green 20%, right? 30%, 40%. And I create a tremendous amount of margin for error for myself. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to kind of focus on building here. And the more margin for error I can have in my decisions, easier it is for me to be green, right? Removes a lot of that psychological pressure and allows me to really maximize, right, the P&L potential that is available to me. All right, CL. What's the count? How do we feel? Spot on, yeah. 1 for 3 here to the downside. Jack, you're rapid with these. So we're still looking for a fake out here. Fake out off the green box this time, right? Then a breakout past the trend line back up towards 71.50. So again, right, our starting point's not changing here too aggressively. And then to the downside, right, a fake out at the trend line. So fake out at 70. And then breakout towards yesterday's low. So like 68.50, sorry, pre-market low, 68.50 would be a great starting point. So 68.50. And then we can kind of map this out down towards, say, 66.50. So we'll go 68, 67.50, 67, 66.50. So plenty of space down there if we can get that oomph. But let's make sure that we're getting a clean narrative first. All right, Apple, 3 for 3 here to the upside. So consolidation breakout there yesterday, right? And we're looking for a nice continuation here. And we're looking for a pop above 233.50. We'll call it 234. Or a dip buy and go. And then NA, right, for a downside case. So Apple, much stronger looking than what we're seeing on the index level. So let's see if that ends up being like a bit of a leading name for us here today. Okay, Tesla, inside bar by the looks of it. Maybe not. Just made a higher high. So we'll call this a 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. And we'll call it a fake out higher yesterday, right? And so we're going to look for, I mean, in theory, this is a breakdown trade. And it's basically a trend line breakdown, right? So a pop under 235 would be the starting point here for a downside bounce. Sorry, 335. Cool. All right, Microsoft, 3 for 3 here to the upside. Nice little trend line breakout, right? And so we're looking for that continuation narrative here, and we're looking for a pop above yesterday's high a day, which is 421. And then again, right, trend line breakout, possibly the start of some trending PA. So I'm going to go NA, right, for a downside case. Okay. Amazon 3 for 3 here to the upside, but still confined inside Thursday's range. So we're going to look for a breakout above that spot, which is 203.50. And then NA here for a bear case. Okay. AMD 3 for 3 here to the upside. And we're looking for a gap fill and go or a 143 breakout. And then NA, right, if we're bearish. Okay, NVIDIA. Pretty big trend line breakdown there, increasing outlier volume. So 2 out of 3 here to the downside, trend line breakdown. So most of our names are giving us enthusiasm to the upside. We got Tesla and NVIDIA, right? Definitely 2 big boys giving us some potential trending price action here to the downside. So the balance of powers definitely seems to be higher, but there's enough of those big tickers, right, that are suggesting that, hey, this could be a little bit of like a chop suey day. And so if that ends up being the scenario, right, where we get that divergence between our leading names and our indexes, that's a pretty clear outcome where you get a chop day. And then we're looking for a 140 rejection, right, or a breakdown under yesterday's low day. And 140 is essentially the trend line. Cool. Meta, 3 for 3 here to the upside. Not a great looking 3 for 3. And again, if we could find support inside that green box, still found a lot of dip buyers there yesterday. But ideally, we'd like to see a separation away from that range above 573. And then NA here for a bear case. Okay, Netflix finally dumped. Sorry, 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. And that's a big sell-off, right? That's a pretty bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume, bearish engulfing over 3 days worth of range. So this might be finally ready to start to break down here a little bit for us. And we're looking for that 864 breakdown. Okay, and then Google, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. So we're looking, I don't know if I could do anything actually inside that Thursday range still, right? It's kind of like a crappier version of Amazon, because Amazon's at least a lot closer to breaking out from those highs. Google still very much looks like this is just like a weak little pullback after quote unquote trending PA. So I'd be looking more for a rejection. Or a breakdown right under 165. And then VIX hanging out 14 spot 42. So again, that's probably telling us more bull case than bear case, but let's see how this thing shapes up and where that enthusiasm comes together. Make sense, team? Any questions? All good. Fantastic. So we have about 9 minutes here till market open. Kind of flew through that prep here today. No pre-market rant, so that speeds things up as well. But yeah, looking to really control basically the quality of my decisions here today, right? As things get choppier, as things get slower, as people start thinking about, football on Thursday and turkey dinner and their Thanksgiving feasts, you kind of just like check out of work a little bit, right? So if I'm thinking about how I would have behaved knowing that I've got a long weekend coming up, starting to think about, travel plans, trains, planes, automobiles, the whole 9 yards. And we'll see if that ends up ultimately being the case. We should be able to get still a day or two here of some tradable action. So looking forward to taking advantage of that if we can get an opportunity. But in the meantime, not going to force anything, not going to rush anything. I'm just going to set myself up to be proactive, not reactive here today. And if I can do that, it should be a nice green day. Can really kick off and turn this into a fantastic week. If not, no reason to force anything, no reason to rush anything, no reason to overtrade. So, gonna go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day. And then if you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Any tickers you're looking at, pop them in the chat, and we'll take a look at them here before the session starts. We'll be back at it again here in a couple minutes, and we'll chat then. So be back soon, team. All right, team. So in general, right, looks like a slightly more bullish bias than a bearish bias, but we want to be cautious over how Tesla, right, Nvidia, and Netflix move here this morning. If they continue to dump, then they definitely have enough market weighting to kind of counteract some of the enthusiasm we're seeing on the Apples of the world, right, of the Metas of the world, of the Microsofts of the world. And so we want to be just a little bit cautious, right? Making sure that these narratives become consistent before we rush anything here today. Again, we do have some market data here today at 10 a.m. So new home sales, consumer confidence, and then Fed minutes here later this afternoon. And maybe that ultimately ends up being a slightly muted move, right, until those data points drop. So I'm going to be a little bit patient here. I'm going to be a little bit cautious. I'm not going to force anything, right? Not going to rush anything. And really just going to judge myself here today on the quality of my process versus the quality of my P&L. Now, the things that I'm going to say to improve the quality of my process, right? Protecting winners like a sociopath, right? And being willing to cut losers like they're, a nasty mover. So if it isn't behaving exactly the way that I expect here to start the day off, or, trades aren't moving the way that I want, I'm not going to get emotionally kind of pot committed to those trades. And I'm going to be willing to take that loser on the chin and keep it to be a small loss or a small win instead of it being catastrophic. Doing that there yesterday set me up to be green, right? And so for me, the priority is to continue to focus on that and to put myself in situations where my win rate is borderline irrelevant, right? I'm targeting a 3.5 risk reward as like a starting point, and effective get like a 10-to-1 risk reward or more on so many of my trades. So if I'm trading with those types of margins, I don't need an 80% win rate. I don't need a 90% win rate to be green. I can be very, very successful by basically just flipping a coin. And the more margin of error I can put myself, or situations where I can put myself into, easier it is for me to be green, and I do not need to rush or force or overtrade anything here. So priority number one, control the variables I can control, right? Be objective in my analysis, not subjective, and don't judge my outcome based on the quality of my P&L here, because that's going to be a little bit of a trap or a little bit of a trick, and I don't want to fall for those stories. So if I can do those two things, protect my profits well, and obsess over losing or gamify losing small, I'm going to be in a great shape here, right, to take advantage of whatever move does eventually show up. So that's the plan here. Talked about a little bit how I'm going to maybe do a little bit of a more aggressive pyramiding technique. So if we do get an opportunity for that, I'll obviously break that down as it comes together. But it's effectively just a judgment, right, of has price action moved the way that I want? Can I protect my position once I'm up 1R? And it'll be a combination of those techniques. So I'll keep you guys in the loop there if obviously something changes. But yeah, I'm trying to juice up the premiums in my direction, right? Stack up as many possible advantages as I have. And if I could get more pyramid trades on a weekly basis, daily basis, then I'm going to make a lot more money. And so, yeah, market conditions have changed here a little bit versus what they were in August and September. So again, adapt, improve, right? Change a little bit and force yourself to become the best trader you can be. And just realize, right, that how you trade now is not how you're going to trade 10 years from now, 10 months from now, right? Even potentially 10 days from now. And the constants of risk management, the constants of risk reward allow us to have that flexibility where we can force ourselves to get better. And the more objective I can be in that analysis, the better my trading is going to go. And it's easier for me to be objective, right, in my analysis when I keep those initial positions small, when I start off with thinking about risk first, and I gamify losing small, right? If I judge myself on the size of my losers, not the size of my winners, the size of my winners will consistently be bigger than the size of my losers, and I'll find a lot more daily success and achieve the objectives that I'm looking for. So that's really the priority, right? That's really the target. That's really what I want to obsess over. And I'm going to see if I can get that combo of information, right, to kind of all work in my favor here today. Any questions here, team? So it's an interesting question, Willard. The electronic trading hours are designed for people in Asia and Europe to be able to basically get into their positions that they want, right? Effectively, you know, futures markets are trading 22, 23 hours a day. So it's just a reflection of that. Just so that they have that availability. Like the guy who was trading futures rolls at the fund I worked at had the worst working hours of anyone. He had to be in the office like 5:30 in the morning UK time and stuck around till US close. I'm not sure what you mean by Commonwealth traders. Ah, yeah, okay. So traditional Commonwealth countries, okay. And they aren't restricted to trade that. Like you could trade those time frames if you wanted, or those market hours if you wanted. But just the volume is pretty crappy. And so if I consider myself a momentum trader, I need a decent amount of general enthusiasm to be able to trade those ideas successfully. So I'm sure there'd be other strategies, other techniques that would work well inside those time frames. But if you're trading like an opening range breakout, well, by definition, the opening range is the first candle of the day, right, at regular trading hours. So I wouldn't like mix up that definition just to get something that I want. I would look for a different technique that would maybe be less dependent on momentum. All right, so still keep an eye out here, right? We've got a opportunity potentially on NQ. Maybe has a chance to get there to that increasing volume. Same thing with ES. Maybe ES a little bit lagging behind. But we're seeing good amount of dip buyers, right, in our tech names. So Apple, right, showing us green. Tesla showing us green as well, right? Nvidia showing us green. And Netflix also showing us green. So those names where we had some potential fears, right, of there being, say, trending price action here to the downside, maybe some of those fears are being alleviated here early on, which would be a good sign, right, if we have that bull case. So NQ, right, if we're going to trust this breakout, has to hold above 2100. That's going to be the starting point. It did not on the 3-min. And then, so if it rejects, right, again, we need to see a rejection on pretty impressive volume. Don't see that here yet. ES, not a rejection on volumes. Again, don't see that here yet. How's everyone feeling this morning? Everyone feeling good? Anyone have any trading-based dreams like I did? Says a lot. Sometimes the market is too consuming. I'm starting to dream about trading. I've got a sick problem. Well, Jack, you're in good hands then. All right, CL also possibly setting up for us. All right, to check about CL data here today. We're good. Again, no increasing volume there. So 10 seconds to go here on this CL. If it can close as a green candle, cool. That'd be interesting. Then target basically 69.50. Not enough volume on NQ. ES has the volume, but it's counter trend. CL didn't close green. I'd still say I generally believe it's a dip buyer's market versus a seller's market. Oh, it's so gross outside. Well, I definitely had the right idea for a reversal. I just didn't see it coming this big. That's an outlier move. So is that data? Or some sort of Trump tweet? Jeez. Yeah, that is an absolute FU candle. Yeah, that's a blue chew candle, absolutely. Wow. Hey, if this move lasts for 4 hours, I'll be pretty happy. One of my favorite quotes, George Soros, is like, when I see a bubble, most people want to run, I want to jump in. That's making me feel. But that is a tremendous move. Like stop losses have to be low of day here now at this point. That's a pretty aggressive pullback. 30-cent stop loss, probably a little bit too aggressive in my my book. That was a psychotic move. Not being able to see any news narratives that are indicating that should have been the case. Okay, here we go. OPEC begins talks on delaying oil production. Restart again. So cap in supply. Okay, 947, so still got plenty of time here. Let's see if one of these candles can close above 21,000. Didn't do it on the 3. Maybe on the 5. No increasing volume here yet on ES. Again, this would give me still plenty of time to be able to trade this, right? But if I do get a setup here on NQ, I would be closing it, right, prior to 10 a.m. Or, right, and I'm hesitant to say this, but it would be set yourself up for an entry protection, right? You're protecting a 1-hour win, whatever it might be, if you get big follow through for 10 a.m. Now, I'd prefer to close. But you never know with these algos. You honestly never know which, what data is going to be the one that moves things, right? That goes haywire. All right, so 12 seconds to go here. Definitely watching NQ. Okay, and early doors. This would be an aggressive entry technique. So let's see where it finds support here. I really don't want to see it pulling back further than previous low of day, or previous high of day, sorry. But that was a good bounce. So 2112, sorry, would be the current stop loss. Let's see where it finds support here. No rush yet, no rush, right? Again, if it pulls back under 2103, I'm going to wait this thing out. Okay, so far a good decision. Now stop loss to be 2106. So let's watch here. Still not the right reaction. Again, if it can't hold above previous high a day, I will not be interested in this. So now 2102 would be the stop. I mean, it bounces, but then it gets like it hits a ceiling. Okay. Looks like it's going to be a walk away here. Definitely looks to be a good decision. Okay, bearish engulfing candle, not bearish engulfing on volume. That failed move doesn't make one feel good. So let's see, maybe 30 seconds to go here. So far, so slow. Okay, better on NQ. This now looks like a possible rejection scenario, right? Failed breakout above 21,000. Bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume. Then again, your target would be 2R, right? 2x the range, not 2x risk. I need to find maybe a different acronym for that. So 2983, call it 984 would be the stop loss on a short here. I am watching here very carefully. It should not be, Joe. No, it should not be. Still watching here. It's a couple minutes till data. Have to be a one contract play. Bum, 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 bum. Again, so far have not missed out on anything here. Would have needed like a perfect entry to have been green there. I don't want to overestimate my ability to be perfect. But this is looking interesting for sure. I'm going to wait this thing out for the data, I think, at this point. Okay, 30 seconds to go. Man, I need a bigger desk. Okay, yeah, good decision. And there's that algo flush. So stop loss have to be 98.50. Oh. Okay. Now, this is a tremendous amount of risk, right? You're still looking at like $800 a contract here, right? 40 points. So even if we were short, right, we would have been stopped out on that fake out before this thing makes its move 20 points lower. So again, no bitterness here. Have made a relatively good decision to avoid, basically max frustration. That is definitely what one would call an FU candle. Still $700 worth of risk at this point, right? Still too much. It is a gentle pullback, which is what you'd like to see if you're bearish, but I can't get the sizing that I'd like on this trade. So I would need to pull back into, the 70s, right? I'm impressed. It was a nasty, nasty shake. So is this thing going to find the courage to go green here on us? Come on, find it. This 970 area is pretty interesting. Still would like to see an overreaction here. So that's $500 worth of risk now. Yes, did a little bit of a green by the looks of it. Not good enough candle. Maybe on this 5-man we can get an opportunity. So we're going to keep delaying, right? Basically the standard of confirmation here. And yeah, waiting for that 10 a.m. data. Good call. That would have been a max frustration trade. So again, being proactive, not reactive here, right? Easier said than done sometimes. I could probably still talk myself into a short. green. Barely. The initial move off of these highs was a rejection. Seeing 450 here. Just be patient. Inside bar doesn't change anything yet. We do have the risk reward to justify taking this trade here. I'm trying to just find the right entry. And if I'm going short, I want to go short on the uptick, right, instead of chasing the price. Yesterday, chasing the price cost me a few extra dollars. All right, guys, I am in short 976.50. One contract. And I'm going to be a psycho here with how I protect this. So far, so good. Okay, let's see if we can flush here. Come on. Okay, I've closed it for now. Closed it. I think I have another chance to jump in here. Maybe prematurely. Got a bit nervous on that pullback. Try this again, potentially. Like if we look at this from like a trend line perspective, right, it keeps getting stuffed at the trend line and then breaking down. Ah, it's a bad decision. So now maybe I could do a stop loss 87.50. Ah, dumb. Just a little bit too much tunnel vision on that. But it's still setting up, I think. So yeah, I probably left $400 or $500 on the table there, just closing it just a prematurely. I feel dumb. Had a really good entry. Like that algo rejection zone was definitely a good entry. Just got caught P&L watching, I think, a little bit. I mean, I didn't miss out on a tremendous amount, but I do feel like that was still a really good entry. Like, I'd rather be too protective over profits, right, and take small wins than get greedy, right, and get stopped out and lose mental capital. So, okay, all in all, not the worst decision in the world, but yeah, I just, in my notes, like, I got nervous on the pullback P&L watching. That's literally what I've got written down. So it's like, like, I know better. And, like, we could be back in play here. I think a little bit of it too, Eric, was trying to overcorrect a little bit of wanting to be green on my first trade. There's definitely an element of that associated with this decision as well. Because that's been something that's been escaping me just a little bit recently. So again, here, right, we'd be looking for another trend line rejection. A low vol pullback into trend line. 21 points as a stop, so 400 something dollars. Da, 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 da. And guys, the trigger for my entry, right, is I basically wanted to go short in the area where I saw the original algo buyer step in and defend, right? So if I saw an early pump higher and then a huge aggressive flush, I wanted to go short where I saw that big flush occur, right? So where I'd seen bears basically be psychos already. That was the logic behind that entry. So I do apologize a little bit for being a nervous Nelly. Well, let's see if this thing will give me another chance here to play this short. Everyone understand by what I mean the algo rejection zone? Everyone get what I mean by that? All right, cool. Oh, the banya. Okay, so let's see if this thing's got the legs here for volume. Okay, I still think we're back in business here. So stop would now be 936.75. Let's see where it finds support. So 29.36, we'll call it. And let's see if it can break down. And probably don't want it pulling much further than like that 44 area. Okay, 48 would still be reasonable. Call it 49, just to round up here. So for now, this would be one contract. This would be one contract here. Okay, and starting to watch. All right, guys. So I am in 929.50. 929.50. That's just one contract here. Again, going to be a lunatic with how I protect this. Come on, you can do it. Here we go. Guys, I have closed this position here at 937. That did not feel like the right reaction on that 927. So again, I'll be willing to reset this and take another stab. So again, I'm trying to follow my plan here, right? And that was the right call. Yeah, I don't care about 1 minute VWAP, to be honest with you, Steven. Doesn't mean too much to me. Okay, so I'm up $57 on the day here. And again, I saved myself money on that decision, right? I absolutely saved myself money on that decision. So again, right, being proactive, not reactive here today. Fine. I don't have to let myself get chopped about, right? I just don't have to do that. I would rather take a $150 loss, reset, right? And build back another opportunity for an entry. This commitment to taking max losses, it's like, I'm not the captain of the Titanic, right? I don't have to go down with the ship. So again, we could be back in business here, 5-minute time frame. So I am still watching here, team. I'm still watching. So we need to get into like the 50 range for a pullback, right? What was that number? 920 it bounced off of. I did not make a lower low on that 5-min candle. So still in play. And then if we break down this way, right, aggressive technique would be a retest of 920. And again, guys, I would have been stopped out, right, higher had I not cut that trade earlier. So no, like, emotional attachment to this, right? Making it easy for myself to be green and making it easy to protect my mental capital. I'll take a 7-point loss. That's fine. Right? I can make that back in a blink of an eye, right? So again, if this thing wants to break down and we can have our stop loss here at 43, that would also be appealing. Otherwise, we're still playing around with a possible 71.50 stop. Looks more likely to be that 43 here. So again, going to set that up. Everyone understand how I've behaved here so far? Does it make sense to everyone? Yeah, control small wins, control small losses, right? Be willing to take some shots without impacting your P&L. Like a $50 day here is no, it's nothing to brag about, right? But it's the process that I can judge myself on here. Because if I behave that way, I'm good, right? I need one nice trade to set me up. I don't have to be an idiot. Yeah, well, that's markets in general recently here, Eric, right? So if it's choppy, I'm not going to allow myself to get chopped out. I'm going to be defining exactly what a reaction needs to look like. If it doesn't give me that reaction, I'm going to cut it and run, right? Trying to get better at that. I'm trying to be more proactive. So I am still watching here. Stop loss would be 71 or 72, we'll call it, right? That'll be the spread. So yeah, if I can turn $500 losses into $50 losses or $150 losses, that's a good thing. Yes, on the flip. NQ give me increasing? Yeah, but not outlier. So I'm going to go ES here. Question is, what's the reasonable target? Should it be high a day? So 617 stop loss here. So as is, this would be a 4 contract play. Ooh, just missed. All right, guys, I'm in 619.50. Oh. Still in. And did not cross the spread here. But again, if I'm trying to be objective, that didn't feel like a great little pullback. So I might just take the $50 here. Come on, come on. Where the heck did my... Oh. Alright, I'm out. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Oh boy, okay. Not enough volume on crude. Yeah, I'm thinking about that a little bit here, Jack. Yeah. Again, that's a good trend line rejection. Keeps getting stuffed at that area. A little bit unlucky with the old ES. If I go 85 as a stop, entry at the trend line, that would be interesting. Okay, so I am still watching here for an NQ short. And I'd be looking around the trend line as my entry target. Right, which is approximately 74. So again, I've taken 3 trades here so far today. Very, very manageable. I've kept myself alive, right? That's sort of the objective here. Okay, so let's watch. It's again very interesting. Okay, watching very closely here. Couple points. My screen share might have ended there. Should be back. Should be back. Not quite sure what happened. Discord crashed on me there for a second. Okay, so still watching around that 74 area. Decent rejection, but I have not seen a good reaction here to a possible entry zone yet. Feels like it would. Yeah, there's the fake out higher. Look at ES. That's so cruel. What's this volume? What's this volume? Come on, load up. Okay, so we could be back in business here with a rejection, 990.75, so 991 stop loss. Watching closely here still. It just looks like a fake out now, right? So either this thing will close strong and we'll get that ORB breakout, or this is going to be a fake out here and we can look for a rejection. All right, so this is going to be a trade to the upside here now. Right, trend line breakout, increasing outlier volume, targeting high of day. The question is the better entry? I mean, that's pretty reasonable for a pullback. Looks like it might have to be the aggressive. So 83.50 stop loss for a long here. as is, right? This could be 2 contract, maybe even 3. Come on, pull back just a little bit here. Too fast. Way too fast. That was a wall. Ooh, that would have been stressful. Okay, so are we going to survive this fake out here? Okay, now it looks like a rejection. Man, bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Yes, it's a bit of a work day here. So maybe we have a setup though on crude. To high a day. Sounds good, Jen. Enjoy the rest of your day. Crude is very, very appealing here. Maybe the most appealing. $10.51. We back in business here. Failed breakout. 970 stop. 971 stop, we'll call it. Okay, I am looking short here, team. I am looking short. All right, there I'm in. So, average entry price, $960. Two contracts. Again, going to be a lunatic with how I protect this. Come on. See if we can break down here. Come on. Okay, I'm out. Pre stop loss. 963 close price. Once it hit 57 and couldn't sustain, that was the reason to close. Man, this is a lot of freaking work today. Oh. Sounds good, Steven. Enjoy, man. All things considered, things are pretty reasonable here still. Again, being a lunatic with how I'm managing my risk, right? And that's keeping me in the game, which is a very nice feeling. Frustrating, just to take paper cuts. But I would rather take paper cuts than full-size losses. And again, right, still very much within that one trade framework. But I'm just trying to find the best possible entries for myself here. And I'm being a risk manager and a speculator, right? But it's risk manager first. So I can have the right idea. The right idea is easy. Getting the right timing on your idea is the hard part. Again, I would have been stopped out here before it makes this move, right? So I can't trick myself into thinking this would have been different. But again, we're still in play here. So again, this would still be a short setup. Okay, so short, stop loss 79, call it 80. And again, right, any decision I make here, I'm protecting like a psycho, right? The second it gives me, what's that Cynthia Freeland term? Vibe session she used. The second it's the wrong vibe session, I'm getting out of here, right? So now it doesn't want to fake out maybe and go 87.50 as the stop. Relentless. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so I'm very interested here in a short still. Stop would be 87.50, 88 we'll call it. So just looking for the correct reaction. Has not happened yet. Has not happened yet. All right, guys. I am in average price 79. Again, being a lunatic with how I manage this. Come on. Last chance to break down here. Okay, 6 points, 8 points. Come on. It's a good rejection. Very good rejection. Come on. Okay, so that's 1R. Needs to flush, though. Needs to flush, though. Closed. Again, if this is strong, it'll give me another chance to re-enter. Take the small win, reset, try again. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. And if I'm going to get re-enter, right, I'm re-entering at a better price than what I had before. Oh, man, come on. This today is trading, guys. This today is trading. Managing my thesis well, not being an asshole, right, with price action. Come on. Still watching here. Ah, oh, you bugger. Nah, I don't like to fake out higher here. I'd still have to be that 85 as a stop loss to be confident. At this point, this would be a one contract play now. Today I've been missed two nice moves. Just to be down $372. All right, so watching here at 70. All right, guys, I'm in short 6,925, one contract. $969.25. Stop at 986. So far, so good. Oh my gosh, I have to work today. How many times have I said that this month, huh? Again, psycho with how I'm protecting this. It's 969, not 9698. Okay, see if this thing can break down here, but great shape. Let's go. Come on, a bit more here. Okay, so that's average price. Now, I could possibly pyramid into this if I can get good follow through. Stop would then have to be 959. Or higher, just a little bit higher. 961. Okay, guys, average price is now $963.75. 2 contracts. Stop loss is at 961.25. So I'm protecting a 2-point win here with 2 contracts, right? Same thing as that previous trade I just had. But now I'm looking for upside, right? So now it's $500, $600 up. Let's go. All right, here we go. That fight has been worth it, team. Let's go. And again, going to be a psycho with how I protect this, right? Right? Run, run, run. Here we go. Let's even keep pushing. What a weird day. Oh my gosh. I love it though, guys. Honestly, I love it. I love how well I've protected positions, how well I've protected mental capital, how well I've set myself up, right, to have alternative situations. It's a cheat code. It feels like a cheat code. Okay, it's got to break down here. Come on. Last chance saloon. So very much a more active trading style, right? Because we're willing to trade our thesis multiple times. But I like it. I like it a lot. Again, adapt to the conditions in front of you, right? Not what you want to happen. Okay, and this is starting to bounce differently than I would like. So I'm going to look to trim this, or close this, I should say. Next little flush. Come on, you can do it. All right, guys, I'm out. 951 close. 951 close. And again, I can retry this if it sets up. Let's go. Woo! Again, we'll try this again, right, if it wants to continue to break down on me. Another prematurely, though. So now stop loss have to be 950, 959.50. And again, right, I could try to keep building this position. I'm a dumbass. Okay, and I'm back in short at 941.50. I don't know if I like that. Okay, I closed at 940. I think I can get a better entry than that. So we're going to try again here. Same stop loss. I'm trying to get a better entry. Maybe not. I could do this, though. 945 stop loss. We are working, team. We are working. All right, so I'm back in here. 941.50. Stop loss 945. Okay, stopped out. That's fine. Didn't have time to write it out. Apologies. That was worth the 100-point stab. Or $100 stab. Ooh. It's time 11:20. Overtime. Okay, we got a setup here. Stop loss 948 to the downside, or sorry, to the upside, right? See if we can find support. Yep, okay. Okay, guys, I'm in long, 956.25. 3 contracts. Woo! Oh, hello. Okay, keep pushing, keep pushing. Again, protecting this position like a lunatic. Come on, come on. Good bounce off of 960 there. Very active trading day. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. You guys liking the style of being psychotic with the protection? Okay, last chance saloon. Okay, guys, I closed there at 59, 959. Not the right candle shape, right? If we're gonna be bullish. And we're just stacking up base hits here. Stacking them up. Turning into a nice day here. Turning into a nice day. That's a working man's day, but it's a nice day. Yeah, and again, right call, right? That was the right call. Woo! Busy, busy, busy. But hey, that's now 565 on the day. I will not complain about that. Question is, where's the next one? And I still haven't gotten good follow through on anything. But there's $100, $200, right, adding up, and you're keeping those losers small, sub $200, sub $300, and it makes it easy to be green. That's really the whole point here. My gosh, do I have to work sometimes? Huh. Hey, it's turning into a nice week, team. Turning into a nice week. So now the question is, can we get something on ES that I could pyramid into? And the catalyst for a close, right, is that it couldn't hold above 960, right? So I just didn't feel optimistic as if that was the strongest reaction. Now, I probably could have closed it once I was up, 964. And that would have been a much, much better win. Something to think about a little bit out loud. I don't want to sell into this buying pressure here. That makes me nervous. That trend line still continues to be a bit of a sticky point. But then here's the counter. Oh. So if I was trading institutionally, for example, right, that would be very similar. How I've traded here so far today be very similar to how I would be trading like an Apple or a Tesla back in the day, where you'd have a core position and you'd be adding chunks, closing chunks, adding chunks, closing chunks, right, on breakouts higher and lower, or on moves higher and lower, or on good risk reward ratios higher and lower. It'd be a little bit different because you wouldn't be going all in, all out, because you're not doing that with $40 million positions. But when you're trading one or two contracts, you can build up that sizing, try to pyramid in if you get good risk reward entries. And if you're a psycho with closing your losers and closing your small winners, then you can be in pretty good shape where you're never really far away from getting a nice move. I can't lie, I like that a lot. It feels very familiar. And we're just trading our core thesis, right? But we're just not emotionally attaching ourselves to it. So good start here. It's 11:28. The day has flown by. How's everyone feeling? Good? Not so good? Makes sense? Doesn't make sense? So here's those algo buyers, right? We talked about on CL. It's been a working man's day today, brother. Free, absolutely. But I won't complain about that. I feel like I've gotten better today. And managing risk like a lunatic has been the way to make money. I mean, this CL is very appealing. Just literally a deja vu, right, of this move that happened here, except on bigger volume. Okay, so stop loss would have to be 934. Sorry, 69.34. Whoops. And you'd be buying 5 units here, right? No more. Stop would be 69.34. Okay, just be patient. That looks a little bit like a fake out. NQ back up above 60. Dun 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 dun. I mean, 34 held. I can't say I'm convinced. Whew. I feel like I've had 6 cups of coffee here. This game makes me laugh sometimes. How can you not love it? Here we go. Here we go again. So, trying to be objective here. It does feel like we might now just be waiting for Fed minutes. Right? We've been playing such a tight range. Everything has been such a tight range here today. I don't know if there's any value in doing anything else. Kind of feel like a bandit running away with a green day. What do you guys think? I've really enjoyed trading today, though. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that's probably the move. A nice green day. Stack them up. Green day yesterday. Green day today. I don't know. No, it'll be, how many days is that? 4? 4 out of my last 5 days green. Oh, I'll take an 80% green rate. Absolutely. Whew. All right, team. I'm going to go final call for questions here. I'm going to go final call for questions. I see no reason to trade anymore. Woo! So yeah, 3 things, or the 2 things I wanted to focus on here this morning. We did it, right? We focused on keeping our losers to be less than max losses. Only 1 trade did I take a stop loss at my stop loss, right? That's awesome. And then everything else, right? Protect your winners, pyramid into positions more aggressively, manage your risk like a lunatic, right? Don't let green trades turn into red trades. Did all 3 of those things here today. And boy, did I have fun. That was a blast. And yeah, there were some trades where I got maybe too paranoid. That ended up breaking down and could have been a little bit bigger, but yeah, that's a good improvement, I would say. I think from a process-based mindset or framework, that's awesome, right? So I won't complain about that. Everyone feel good? I'm trying to think about how to phrase this in my journal today. I've read the multiple thesis a couple times. And boom, new all-time highs in the portfolio. Let's go. Let's go, team. Let's go. What a day. No, I was just typing things out there. I was just typing things out. I'm still here. I'm still here. All right, guys. Final call for questions here. Final call for questions. And boom, P&L graphic looking sharp. Let's go. What a fun day. And guys, the only thing that I did differently here today is I was obsessive over not taking max losses, right? Cut losers early. Don't get into a tremendous amount of drawdown. And just take your little wins, right? Base hits, base hits, base hits. Adds up nicely. It was like plus 200 to start the day. Then minus 150. Then another minus 150. And then 500. And then 160-ish. And then a scratch. Like, great day. Everyone feel good? DTR guest, how'd you find today? Good, bad, ugly? Nice, Greg. Love it. Very active session. Very busy day. Lots of action, but I got no complaints with it, to be honest. I feel really sharp. So, final call for questions here, team. Final call for questions. And yeah, turning into a nice week here. Like $5,500 on the week. Last trading day of the week tomorrow, right? So let's finish it off with a bang. Man, that was fun. I don't want Thanksgiving now. All right, team. So if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the day. Same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day. And I'll look forward to catching up with a few of you here in our 101s later this afternoon. So have yourselves a great session, a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you then. Peace.